Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello there, welcome back.
Yeah, there's so much going on, guys. So much going on. Check it out over here. You see the Few advisor, Yuval Noah Harari, believes all flights should be banned. Entire countries should be locked down to combat climate change. If you have been following the channel for a while and you especially have paid attention to a lot of the channeled messages we have gotten from the guides from the Galactic Federation, you'll know that we've shared a lot with you about what's coming in the future, including the fact that when you look into the future, you see that in, say, 2035, there are no flights anywhere on the planet. No plane flights, that is.
There is going to be a different type of travel, and I think the travel is going to be very limited, depending on who it is and what their business is. But that's one of the things that really stuck out when we were channeling through the Star Children, and this is the information that they brought through, is that there was no planes, and that felt really weird. And the other times that I have remote viewed, again, the strange part about the remote viewing is the skies are silent. There's really not much going on up there. So that remains to be seen, but we keep seeing these headlines about, limiting movement, limiting flight activity. We just don't know exactly what's going to happen, but, I stand by that. I feel confident when I look into the future. It's very quiet.
Yeah, and, you could always do the little search and put in Star Children, and there it is. Message from the Star Children, Earth Future. Life outside the control matrix. We did get them a few times to come through. Interestingly enough, they were doing it against their elders' wishes, which maybe some of us, in reality, or maybe some of our kids, Oh, life is like really is like a sci-fi movie. And the situation on the planet, we're in the last few years of life as you know it, because it's radically changing. It's going to be radically changed. We're going in different directions. You're going to have one group that's going to go run off into the singularity. They're going to merge with AI. They're going to merge with the technology fully. And that's not going to be Homo sapiens as we know it. Homo sapiens as we know it is really in its last day, because we have kind of like Homo superior, which is evolving on the planet naturally. And, that's an awakened humanity. Again, the sun, the cosmic energies coming in, they're triggering our DNA. We are evolving rapidly. We're gaining abilities that are mind-blowing. As far as things like telepathy, clairaudience, clairsentience, all sorts of other quote-unquote gifts, in the biblical terms, gifts of the spirit. Or, again, just what we might call paranormal in a dark age, but it's just normal out of the dark age. And the dark age is going in the rear view. Here you go. There's a big festival celebration going on in Turkey, and the music's super loud, otherwise I'd play it. And then there's a lot of oohs and ahs as, don't worry, it's just a meteor. Yeah, it's a meteor. Yeah, it's somebody saying, check out the humans dancing. Well, we better get out of here, boss. Okay, yeah, take her to light speed. See you later.
And this happens more often than we think. They definitely do get a kick out of watching humans interact. Watching them in a state of joy is one of the more beautiful things that they like to stop and watch. So when you do have humans coming together to exchange energy, bring up vibration, yeah, they do stop and they do watch. I think it's pretty cool.
It is a very populous universe out there. We are not alone, never been alone. So this is the one we did up on Patreon today. Oh, wow. 31 minutes, 33 seconds. I just noticed that. And we started on this quote from Revelation 9:6. And I debated going into that in depth on this video, but no, I think it needs a complete video of its own. And, again, you could look at Revelations, and if you bring it up to current understanding, you will see it's all about technology. It's all about technology. It's all about the reintroduction of humanity to knowing that it's not alone. And in fact, the control system becomes exposed for what it is. And over there, we were talking about the coming lockdown, because we know there's a lockdown coming, pandemic, and is it going to be basically a zombie apocalypse? And again, there's much more than meets the eye, and it goes into certain things that we're seeing out and about. And isn't it fascinating? I just said to Cindy, I said, my gosh, we are so on lately. I mean, with just that intuitiveness, it's increasing so drastically. Here we are quoting Revelation 9:6 again. In those days, men shall seek death, and they shall not find death. They shall desire to die, and death shall flee from them. That's pretty dark, isn't it? And then you get Elon saying, "May you live forever" is the worst possible curse once you understand deep time. Wow, that was 2:31 p.m. He tweeted that. And, we put this up. Gosh, I think we were probably, I don't even know what time it is now. We put up maybe an hour before Elon tweeted that. I don't think he's listening to us, but you never know.
You never know these days.
It's crazy, guys. But, it is quite a ride. But that's what this is. This is a ride. And, this looks familiar, but I never saw Vegas like this, as you see. Major flash flooding in Vegas. Oh, yeah, but Cindy's seen Vegas flood.
Yeah, this water looks a little bit dirtier and faster than I've seen in the past, but it does flash flood. The difference, I think, this time is all the roads that I saw washed out, coming and going to many little towns, even the town that I was from, having the way blocked for at least a week, maybe 2 weeks. Sometimes it depends. But this was really strange. And the other stuff we're going to talk about, it feels really deliberate.
Oh, yeah, there's so much going on. So, Burning Man Festival declares national emergency. Over 73,000 campers trapped, urged to shelter in place amid the flooding crisis. And, there's other stuff happening there that some say there may be a outbreak of a hemorrhagic kind going on. And I've seen other tweets that say, no, it's probably monkeypox or something like that. But the reality is, one person has lost their life at the festival. The death is under investigation. As you see, Burning Man chaos with fake Ebola outbreak. Again, Ebola is a type of hemorrhagic fever. There are other types as well. And here you see this developing story getting reports that there has been a confirmed Ebola outbreak. Now, again, fake Ebola outbreak is what the Sun was saying. And the Sun, is one of those papers that you don't put a lot of stock in. But at the same time, there was somebody that did lose their life. But again, that it's a crazy festival. People are doing all sorts of things that maybe they shouldn't be doing. And, again, things happen. But you see this tweet saying that somebody is crazy sick with something that has them coughing up really coagulated blood. Medic showed up wearing a full suit. No idea where he is now. I would stay inside your camper. Yeah. Meanwhile, flooding still going on everywhere that there's not a drought. This is over in Spain. Toledo, beautiful area, and wow, that is an intense flood going on. Houses collapsing. This is over in Guatemala. Again, intense flooding underway all over when it rains, when it pours. At least 5 large U.S. property insurers have told regulators extreme weather patterns. They always got to stick this in. It's like they're just like a parrot. Climate change. Climate change. It's climate change. Your burger burned. It's climate change. The car won't start. It's climate change.
It's true. Yep.
Dad's got the runs. It's climate change.
And they're going to keep going too. They're not going to stop because they have an agenda. And these beings, they really don't care what they have to do or what takes place as long as they reach their goals and reach their agenda. And while we're looking at all of these floods and everything going on at Burning Man and everyone who's having a very difficult time, let's take a moment, if you can, out of your day, and please send them some loving energy to at least bring them some peace while they're going through all this chaos.
Absolutely. And meanwhile, going over to NOAA, checking out space weather conditions. Right now, everything is calm, but we did have a G2. We had a moderate geomagnetic storm, and we also had an R2, moderate radio, not R2D2, moderate radio blackout impacts. When we look over, we do see, and a lot of you guys are getting really sensitive to the KP. We have been around 4 to 5 and even up to as close as almost 6 recently. So, it's one of the things where those that are sensitive to the energies, you might have felt like a little bit tired, a little bit lethargic today, a little dragging. Yeah, it could very well be. But, this is, again, also, it's triggering those DNA changes of a very positive nature. Meanwhile, America certainly is under attack. Sleeper cells, black ops, prisons. Yeah, we have 100 inmates that took over a living unit inside the Minnesota prison. This is just par for the course in these times. But I remember people being interviewed going up to the border area, going through the Darien Gap down in Panama on the border there with Colombia, and they were talking about so many inmates that were released from certain areas down in South America and Central America and free to go basically make their way up to the U.S. And, this is part of the chaos that we see ongoing. And it's just part of these times.
It is really, really frightening to look at this information and know what could happen, the things that they could do, the things that they could unleash on us. And that's why we're always, always, always talking about your spiritual practice, because no matter what you're faced with, no matter how scary it is, you can always go within and find peace somewhere. If you do that, those few things, body, mind, breath, can go really far.
Absolutely. Whether that looks like yoga or qigong or any other mind, body, breath practice, it's something that can lower blood pressure and bring you a lot of peace and sanity in these times. Here was a massive fire at a business center where records of midazolam, which is basically used in putting people to sleep for surgeries and the like. It's a sedative. It was also used in care homes to, they're putting their opinion out there, is stored. This is in London. And so the records are all going up in flames. Yeah, we've seen a lot of curious fires, to say the least. Hawaii, of course. And, here you have another person speaking out about what they saw, that if people did not, in fact, go and do the opposite of what they were being told to do, they wouldn't have made it. And then that begs the question, how many people didn't make it because they did what they were told to do by the people that were in charge?
There is a problem here.
Yes. as you can see, he's talking about the government being liable. Grossly negligent is actually putting it lightly. Demanding accountability as we learn more and more about what's going on and just how obvious things are getting. Wildfires, yet again, northern Alberta took off again. Here you go. It just doesn't stop. No, because the agenda hasn't stopped. And meanwhile, North Korea holds a tactical nuclear attack drill, warns the U.S. and South Korea of a real nuclear crisis. And actually, you also had RT today was talking about it. I'll pull it up because it's important to recognize that all those signs of kind of like the last, these are like the last days, maybe weeks, before you have it go totally hot on, and it's announced basically, okay, we're in WW3. It has officially begun.
I think that's what a lot of people are waiting for. They do want to see the headlines from their own personal trusted news source to say something, but from what I have seen, I mean, it's been going on for a long time. They're just waiting for a certain timeline to announce it because, again, that's going to be a domino for a bunch of other things. But, they really need this business of war to keep them afloat.
Yeah, they moved that article off the front page. But basically, that's what it said. It was Russian officials saying, here we are indirectly in conflict in a hyper proxy war, so to speak, and just basically saying, we're just moments away from this being officially the start of that WW3. So, again, that's getting very, very close. The average payment on a new home now is at a record $2,750 a month. $2,750 is the average mortgage. That's insane. The average house is now renting for $1,900 a month. The average new car payment is $733 a month. The average used car payment, $530 a month. Average student loan payment, $500 a month when payments resume. The average gallon of gas is close to $4 again. The average household credit card balance is at a record $7,300. The average household will have no excess savings by the end of the quarter. How can the average person afford to live? That's a great question. That really is a great question. This is a comparison between 1930 and 2023. When you look at it, it's far worse now than at the peak of the Great Depression. It's far worse. And I think we just kind of, it's the frog in a pot of boiling water that it's slowly turned up so much we don't even realize that, hey, the frog is almost cooked totally. It's almost done.
They do. I mean, they just continue to get people buried. And one of the systems that they absolutely love to use the most is our medical system. They really get us from cradle to grave if you keep going back and realize you don't give your power away to people who are gaining and benefiting from you being sick. I mean, that line of thought is just, I don't know, it's really been bothering me lately. And people continue to turn over their power to those who make big bucks as long as you're sick.
So, what you have is people back in 1930 were making $1,300 a month. And, this is average. The average house was $3,900. So the average house was 3 times your yearly income. It's 8 times now. 8 times now. And, cars, the same thing. It's all crazy. And rent has gone up so much, but this is why they want a nation of renters, because you never own anything. It's great income for people that are renting out to others. Fabulous income. This is BlackRock. This is Vanguard. This is, the few. This is all their plans. It is nothing but serfdom and slavery. It's really, really obvious. And by the way, these are the richest billionaires in each U.S. state. The number of billionaires in the U.S. actually increased 5% compared to last year, going from 720 super wealthy individuals to 775. And, this right here shows you who is the richest in each state. And, of course, in Texas, we have Elon there, as you see, 230 billion. Oh, there's Bezos. He's up there in Washington, 149 billion. Page over in California, 105 billion. Warren Buffett. Again, when you think about it, there's Bloomberg in New York. When you think about it, if you took, Elon's money, if you took these 720 individuals, 725, and brought them all down, just gave them each 1 million to live the rest of their lives off of, you could solve just about anything, couldn't you? Spreading it out throughout the planet, you could stop all the problems. In so many ways, the hoarding of energy, because again, money is an energy source. The elites, they are the cause of all these problems when you get down to it. Because, this is a system that's made to control. It's made to control. And, again, they'll sell you, the American dream, you too can do it. Well, what? Become a hoarder of energy while others suffer? They bank on our greed. They believe that they can, get the people that will be the most quote unquote go-getters out there on their side just by utilizing the greed factor. And so far it's been very successful.
And it keeps going, and it is going to be up to us individually. It needs to stop where we are for us to assess our lives and decide what can we pull out of the system so that we don't continue to hold them all up, because it is our energy that holds them up.
Absolutely. The other way we could look at it is if we step away from the entirety of the monetary system, get enough people to do it, then all this just disappears for them, because you will have the same sort of state you would have had with the Weimar Republic. And when you have these devaluations of a currency, and again, the dollar will be devaluating. It's going to be painful. But the reality is we need to devaluate the entire system. What if we all went to barter and trade and figured out ways to barter and trade with each other? They wouldn't be able to make money off of us. And that's why we have the system. The system is in place. So you can eat larva burgers and they'll be able to eat, whatever they want.
Oh, yummy.
Delicious larva burgers. I know you guys are drooling. Aren't you drooling? You want some. They want you to think that you want some. This is what they have in store for us. Larva burgers or maybe Soylent Green patties. Your choice.
And it's not going to bother them one bit.
No, it doesn't bother them because it's not them. This is a mission impossible, but it can be done.
That's right. You just need a little bit of determination and some know-how, and you got it.
Absolutely. So, work with your neighbors, your family, your friends. Figure out ways to stay out of the system. How can you stay out of the system get out of the system as much as you possibly can? Where can you work up alternative systems? Whatever it is. Maybe, it starts with the babysitter. Instead of paying them on an hourly basis, what do they need? Maybe you could buy it for them, or maybe you have it sitting around. Again, look to see where we can cut the system out. And, it's going to probably be a lot easier when they do actually crash the system, because for a brief period of time, we won't have anything that's normal. And that might be the best time, but maybe that might be the easiest time to come up with agreements. But again, your landscaper, if you have a landscaper, can you work out a barter and trade? The mechanic that you take your car to, is there any services you can offer in exchange? And, we've seen Ubuntu from Michael Tellinger, which is, based on contributing what you're good at, what you would like to provide to society. Again, we just have to come up with alternatives.
We do. And, to me, the best place to start is with you. And you set that example, and other people will catch on.
Yeah. And when I looked at those prices for rents and mortgage, it is, again, it's where are you? And then some people pay more in taxes on their houses than we would pay on an entire year's mortgage. And yet we were blessed with the ability, being that Cindy and I are flexible, because as long as we have a phone or internet, we can keep doing our thing. So we could go anywhere. So where did we go? We went wherever it was very inexpensive and a good grow zone with all the things we would need to basically get through these times in a small homestead, a small modest homestead. And the best part is, too, I talked to the local tax man, we're not going to have any property tax, which is a blessing. But we chose where we are because of all the different effects of that. So we put ourselves in a place where we knew we wouldn't be taxed to death. And we also bought a place that wouldn't be taxed because it isn't, valued so highly. So even though we could have perhaps shot for a little bit more, no. We want to be paid off with no annual property taxes, because, again, the system is all about entrapment.
And really it's we did choose to go without a lot of things, but that's what we chose to do. So there's always something that you can do for yourself to help pull yourself out of the system. And with your energy pulling out of the system, that matters. That means something, and others can watch and follow.
Yes. So did we thank the patrons?
I don't think so.
We didn't. So let's thank our newest patrons.
Indeed, we want to say thank you to Petra, JR, Joan, Dressy, Party Pick, and Diane. You guys, thank you so much.
Much love. God bless, and namaste.
Namaste.